G'day ladies and gentlemen, this is Sam Battlefield. Thank you very much for joining me on my journey into the constraints-led approach for BJJ. I am currently at my gym and no one is around, so I also am looking at hopefully getting some better audio through this method. We'll see how we go. So it was a pretty good day today. We started a bit late because a couple of the guys were a bit late, and a little bit of a discussion had to be had with not discipline or anything like that. It was just it was just me and one other guy at one stage, and then Aaron rocked up. Well, me and one other guy, me and Paul, and then Aaron rocked up. And we got into it. So today, to start off with, we did a stand-up game. And the stand-up game, I've got a black eye as well. You probably might have noticed it. It's only a slight one, but Aaron clipped me with an elbow the other day. But the stand-up game was someone had the back and basically a bear hug, and the goal was to get out. It was essentially building on Aaron's stand-up game yesterday, where the person had single leg and they had to build up to taking the back, whereas in this case the goal was to hold on while the person tried to get out, and that was cool. There was a couple of really cool insights. One of the things that was really awesome to see was, I'd teach this method in the past, and the method would be, you attack the top hand. So like if someone's holding on like this, or holding on like this, you push down on the hand that's on top, because that's the easiest one to break away, obviously. And you'd separate your hips out, and you pull your hips away from them while holding onto that, and break out. But that would always be taught from this ideal situation where the connection is around your hips, right? And I mean, ideally that's where the person wants to also take you down. But if someone feels that you're doing that, like, you're not always going to get just around the hips. You're going to get someone a bit higher up, and pushing down from here, you've got nothing, right? You really got nothing. So anyway, it was just cool to see what you'd need to do, and like angles you'd start to take out, and I found that I was doing certain things that I wouldn't do, if I was sort of doing it as the technique, in that I was sort of trying to get a little bit of angle so that they had to readjust, and then as they readjust, I'd pop down and that sort of thing. So yeah, it was really interesting and cool to see. Then we went into, essentially, we've done it before, I'm sure. I probably should go back through my notes now and start looking at what I've actually done. Fortunately, I've got all these videos. I've got many videos, and I've got many pages of recaps of what I've been doing. So we did knee ride, and the goal for the person on top was obviously to maintain knee ride. The goal for the person on the bottom was to get double enclosure around the thigh. So whatever that meant, they were trying to get double enclosure around the thigh. Now, obviously, the easiest method for this was to get half guard, right? To get a real solid half guard. But what I wanted to work on was, giving myself the affordance, and I didn't necessarily, I wasn't explicit with this, but the emergent behavior, I suppose, from the person on top was when they saw that they were getting half guard, the people were getting half guard fairly easily, their response was to put their leg closer, so their free leg, I suppose you would call it. They'll put that closer to my arm, which would allow me to dive under, get my leg over, and then pull it into like a single or double leg ashi, which was cool as well. So having the goal be different from the technique. Now, I'm still thinking in technique in that respect, so I understand that I'm going to appear I understand that I'm still thinking in that old/new pedagogy, and I'm trying to combine the two, and they're kind of, at the moment, they're collapsing in on themselves, which is, honestly, it's fine. Like, it's an evolution. It's always going to be an evolution. And if that's the case, then that's the case. All right. Now, I'm going to do a little pause here, because I actually took video this time of the game, so that will be here.
So in this game, we have a connection on the leg up top. Doesn't have to necessarily be over the shoulder. It can be under the hip. But the goal is just to get some sort of double enclosure on the person's thigh, and the person on top is looking to free their leg.
Now, during those games, at some stage I got a little bit, what's the word? I got a little bit concerned that I did it back to front, but then I realised that no, I think I did it the right way around. Although, no, in hindsight, I would have swapped them around. So the first game was, you are connected either, so you're on your back, supine, you've got an ankle, or you've got the ankle, right? And the goal was, again, double enclosure on either thigh, and from there, that was a win. And the person on top, their goal was to disengage that connection to the ankle. It worked out really well in that it showed that there was so much you could get stuff if you just continuously attack that concept. So the concept of, I got to get my thighs, or in the case of like an X guard where the thigh is between that sort of shape with your feet, that was double enclosure as well. And what I found was that was something that people were fleetingly getting into, but it was a transitional phase in order to get to something else. And usually it was kind of stretch them out in order to then capture either a double or a single leg ashi, or something like that on the other leg. Because what would happen with that X guard is that someone would just immediately start pushing your way, right? And yeah, I found it was it was a great game. And then the next and the evolution from that was looking at, okay, now you've got that connection. Right, now we're just going to have one hook, either hook on the knee, and there was a bit of experimentation as to which hook was better to start off with. And this is why I would say I would swap them around, because I would have liked to have had the idea of, okay, which hook is better to get in first. So like, as a criticism of myself, I would have switched those games up. But you know, ultimately, I do believe that first game where it was just you needed to get something in, that was actually the most beneficial out of all of them. I'm going to leave it there. Hopefully this is all good for the channel. Obviously you can see, oh, here's another thing. If you get the chance, go to Down by Nature. This is a really, really good jiu-jitsu brand, lifestyle brand at the moment. It's Aaron's brand, so yeah, Down by Nature. I think it's .com, but it could be .com.au. Really high quality wear, like really high quality organic cotton. Yeah, lasts for ages. Awesome clothes, awesome designs. Aaron is an artist, so yeah, there's some really cool stuff there. That's downbynature.com or .com.au. Try both. Thank you very much for joining me on my journey through the constraints-led approach. If you've got any questions, put them in the comments below. I'd be keen to answer them if I can. Hopefully I can. Hopefully I've got a bit of an understanding of this by now. At least I've got a sort of surface level to just below surface level understanding of it, and I would be happy to sort of take you along for the ride. Thanks very much. Cheers.